Welcome to Speaking Up with Jessica Dumas. I'm a certified life coach that specializes in business, leadership, and all things speaking and confidence mindset. Let's chat. Hey, NCI friends, how's it going? Sending some good vibes through the radio waves today. I want to share with you an experience about writing my first bio. So this is just like an introduction bio. If you are an entrepreneur, if you're a leader in an organization, if you are someone who is doing something and you are telling people about what you're doing, then you need to have a bio. And a lot of people don't have a bio, and a lot of people struggle with writing a bio. And it's an interesting thing to do, that you have to write your own bio. So first of all, I didn't know that. And it was probably 10 years ago for sure. It seems like longer. It seems like forever ago. But it was about 10 years ago that a friend of mine nominated me for a program. And he said to me, send me your bio. And I was like, I don't have a bio. Like, what are you talking about? Where do I get a bio? But the first thought that came to me was, no one's ever written a bio for me. And he said, well, then write it yourself. And I was like, oh, is that how it happens? I thought I thought someday someone just writes you a bio. So it's so weird. So, so sharing that, but I want to also express how to write a proper bio. So this is where I'm coming from when I think I know what I'm talking about. Is before I became a speaker, I was an event planner, and I was planning conferences and galas and anything where there's a lineup of speakers. And I had the opportunity, the privilege to organize the speakers. And so that meant I needed to prepare them. And a couple of things about me when it comes to as a speaker, being someone on stage, being a moderator, an MC, anything like that, which is one of my favorite things to do, is I really love sticking to the time. And if we don't start on time, I'm the one that's just like, where is everyone? Let's get started. It's 9 a.m. I really like to start on time. And I really want my speakers to be lined up and ready for their time. So this is as an organizer in event planning and as an MC. And so throughout the process of organizing speakers for a conference or a gala or, having them up on the stage, which reminds me of a guest that I want to reach out to and have on the show. So little note for myself. But what I learned from these speakers is that each of them were required to submit a bio. And so a bio is usually a short write-up of a description for how you will be introduced to the audience. Sometimes that write-up will be put on a website for the event, or I don't think that a lot of people are still printing a lot of programs, but that's something that we used to do, is put the bio in a program. And the variety of length that the bios would come in was stressful, because some people would send in just a nice little, here's 5 lines, here's a little description of who I am, this is how I'd like to be introduced. Easy peasy, that's great. But that was not the majority of the case. And it was definitely something that I had to work through on my own. But now, being a professional speaker, I've been introduced to audiences so many times that I wanted to make sure that my bio was really short and succinct. And if you've ever worked with me in speaker coaching or in coaching or training in any capacity, I like things succinct, but I want to tell you why. And then I'm going to give you a list of things that you can include in a biography. And in this next few minutes, I'm going to tell you how to create a 150-word bio that everyone should have. If you are someone who's doing anything and you want to put a description of yourself, this is something that you can use on your website or LinkedIn. You can use it on Facebook. You can use it wherever you want. But if you are in the process of creating something that you want people to know something about, then you want to be able to tell them about you. So you're going to do that in a 150-word bio, and I'm going to tell you how to do that in a couple of minutes. So something that's really interesting to remember and to consider is that the way that people take in information has changed. This has really occurred in 2020 with the rise of TikTok. So even if you're not someone who's on TikTok, I want you to consider how you use your phone, your computer use, your social media, listening to radio. I want you to just imagine how you take that information in with regards to how long are you going to listen before you're going to change the channel. So I know for some of you out there, you might be like, I put the channel on, I leave it on all day, no matter what comes on. I'm going to hear what I'm going to hear. But the majority of people who are using, especially social media, I want you to picture, and this is going to be the majority of people. I believe it. I don't have statistics on this, but I really believe that. Like, social media is huge. The numbers are huge. The people who are on it and the people who use it. And what's happening is the way that we take in our information, our attention span is so short. So when we're going to swipe on a video, if we're watching something and we are going to move to the next video, we know that we're going to do that really quickly. So we swipe really quickly. The way that we expect things has not only come from social media, but the way that we use microwaves, for example, we want our food quick. So a lot of the things, like we have fast food, we have drive-through for coffee, we have all of these things, especially if you're in the bigger cities, right? Okay, I might be talking to, maybe you're someone who's in the country and you're more in the slow life, and that one, you'll have to teach me a few things. But overall, we want our information quickly. And so when it comes to a biography, and if you're listening and you're, maybe you're sitting in a big audience of people, maybe even a smaller audience of people, when people come up to introduce ourselves, our brains are no longer comfortable with sitting through long presentations. I'm starting to think that 60-minute keynotes are even too long. So as a professional speaker and as a speaker coach, that's something that I'll communicate with organizers, is we really need to think about the way that we're getting information to people. Of course, we're only talking about the biography today, so let's get into that. But keeping in mind our introductions, our presentations, like we really need to tighten that stuff up and be really succinct with what we're presenting. So here's some advice on how to write your bio. You're going to have to write this down because we're going to go through it pretty quickly. But I want to give you some concepts of what are you going to put in your bio. And again, it should only be 150 words. So if you were to open a Word doc on a computer, it'll count it for you. So you don't have to do all that labor-intensive work of writing it out on a notepad or something like that. But 150 words. So you can go as short as 100. There's no rule. It's just a guide. It's just my recommendation, but I have 10 years of experience in this. So as short as 100. Don't go over 160. And when I say once, I want you to stick to 150, but I'm saying 160 because sometimes there's just a couple of things that you want to get in there. Don't go over 160. Stick to 150. So also, people are really going to appreciate this. If you are sending them a bio for whatever reason, they're going to really appreciate this. There's a place for long bios, such as books and websites. But if someone is introducing you, never send them anything more than 150 words, please and thank you very much. Here's what you're going to include. So, of course, your name. You're going to put your name. And if you are someone who uses a nickname and that's the name that you want to be known by, then that's the name that you put on your bio. So, for example, let's say that I like to be called Veronica. I don't. It's a beautiful name, though. But let's say I prefer people call me Veronica. I'm not going to put on my website or on my bio, this is Jessica Dumas, but you can call her Veronica. No, I'm just going to say this is Veronica, and that's my biography. That's what I'm going to put on there. Because why confuse people? Keep it succinct, tell people what you want to be called, and use the name that you want to be called. So your name, and the second thing is going to be title. So you can put down the title that you want to be known for, but if you are aspiring or working towards something, then that's the title that you should be using. Okay? So you don't have to have done it for 10 years. If this is something that you're aspiring to do, maybe that's an author or an entrepreneur, you're working towards something, you want to use that in your bio. So this is, and I'm going to share mine with you to give you an idea, but that so far would sound like this is Jessica Dumas, and she's a professional speaker and speaker coach. And then I go on to say I'm the host of the Speaking Up with Jessica Dumas show and the Confidence and Communication podcast. So those are things that I want to be known for. So I'm going to put that in my bio. And then you want to put your company name or a statement. And this is something that, again, a guide, not a rule, if you don't have anything else that you want to put in there. Because sometimes people struggle. I have some awards that I've won. I have a couple of shows, so I can put those in my bio. But if you don't have that, then sometimes you're struggling. So your company name or your statement. A lot of people like to put where they came from, their hometown or their res. I include that I'm from Kisikunin First Nation in Manitoba, Treaty 2. So that's part of my bio. That's number 4. The 5th one is your education and certificates. So again, if you don't have education and certificates, you can write down your personal and professional goals. Again, things you want to be known for. That's what your bio should include. The next thing that you can add is achievement or accomplishments that you're proud of. And that doesn't have to be education and certificates. It doesn't have to be awards that you've won, but it could be something that you've accomplished on your own that you're really proud of. Maybe it's running your business for 5 straight years, whatever the case might be. And then last but not least, to include in your 150-word bio is hobbies and a favorite quote. And again, this is only if there's room for it, because you don't want to go over 150 words. This is totally possible. So I've been a professional speaker coach. I've been doing this for up to 10 years. Here's my bio in 105 words, just to show you that it could be done. Jessica is a professional speaker and speaker coach on the host of Speaking Up with Jessica Dumas on NCI-FM and the Confidence and Communication podcast. Recognized for her professional expertise, she's a recipient of several awards, including the Manitoba 150 Women Trailblazer Award, Nellie McClung Foundation, Burpees Most Fascinating Manitobans, Future Leaders of Manitoba, and Top 40 Manitobans Under 40. She has recorded talks on YouTube by TEDx, Creative Mornings, and more. Jessica is a band member of the Anishinaabe community, Kisikunin First Nation in Manitoba Treaty 2, and her favorite place to connect with you is on Instagram at jessicadumas.ca. So that's my bio in 150 words. I'm telling you, write your bio in 150 words or less, okay? Do that solid favor, and let's chat about it again next week. Thanks so much. Good luck, and yeah, can't wait to chat again soon.
Thank you so much for your time. Miigwech ekose merci. Get in touch with me on Instagram or my website at jessicadumas.ca.